Let's grow, give back, and my favorite thing, to glow. Because trusting in our provision, our purpose requires deep resilience.
Resilience is the capacity to adapt and recover from adversity. By appreciating and embracing the various dimensions of risk, we enhance our resilience.
Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. May Allah guide us, be pleased with us, and allow this podcast to be a source of healing, growth, and connection. We pray that through our words and work, others may find inner peace, spiritual and emotional wellness, because the two are deeply connected. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the very first episode of Rizq and Resilience. I am your host, The Practical Miss. I'm a high school teacher. I'm also the founder of I Am Well, a not-for-profit turning care into action through education, outreach, and advocacy. I'm someone who is passionate about emotional wellness, human rights, and development, and the stories that shape us. I'm a seasoned mama bear, educator, consultant, and community volunteer with a lifetime of service and over a decade of classroom experience. I'm broadcasting from Ontario, Canada. Here on Rizq and Resilience, you'll find inspiring stories and advice rooted in lived experience and faith. This isn't a space for preaching or prescribing. It's a space for reflecting, healing, growing, giving back, and glowing. So whether you're tuning in from the classroom, your office, the kitchen, or your daily commute, we're so glad you're here. Let's unpack the meaning of risk, resilience, and the powerful connection between the two. Let's grow, give back, and my favorite thing, to glow. Now that we know a bit about me, who is Nettie the Nerd? You've got the coolest name. Let us in.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host, Nadi the Nerd, a tech professional broadcasting from the vibrant heart of Kuwait. I am a dedicated daughter, sister, and aunt, fondly known as Bijan. Diversity and adaptability are my strengths. Born and raised in Pakistan, I spent my early years navigating between Kuwait and Pakistan. Currently, I'm working in the oil and gas industry in Kuwait. After 20 years since my graduation, I've returned to school while managing my full-time job, and I'm a data scientist in the making. Additionally, I am expanding my experience with exciting projects across England and Scotland. Storytelling is my superpower, infused through the applications I develop and the graphic designs I create. Each project tells a unique narrative revealing the diverse journeys of users just like you. However, sharing my own stories can feel a bit daunting. This podcast is my canvas, a space where I can paint my narrative and invite you to step into the spotlight to share yours. Together, we will explore the power of stories that connect us all. As a lifelong learner at heart, I'm eager to share this journey with you. And now that you know who I am, let's dive into our very first episode of Rizq and Resilience. The Practical Miss. The audience and I are curious to know the story behind Rizq and Resilience. So, what inspired you to choose the name Rizq and Resilience?
I chose the name Rizq and Resilience because trusting in our provision, our purpose requires deep resilience. It's not always easy to walk a path of faith, especially when it comes with judgment, loss, or uncertainty. But when you start to believe that what's meant for you won't miss you, something shifts inside. You grow bolder, you grow stronger, and even in the middle of hardship, you find peace, and you might even glow. I've lived that truth from navigating personal tragedy at a young age to walking through life's unpredictable journey. I've come to see risk in every chapter, in death, in grief, in healing and love, in the relationships that come and go, in all the moments in between. From the birth of my children to witnessing my Baba take his last breath, and even through health challenges I never expected, everything that shaped me was risk, written with purpose, even when I didn't yet understand it. This is why when we were finalizing a title and you love this choice too, I was so excited. I felt like that name, it found us.
Absolutely. When you suggested the title, it prompted me to reflect deeply on my understanding of the concept of risk. For me, risk has always centered around holding on to and caring for my loved ones. Upon stepping into the practical world, I realized the importance of provisions in material terms, and it is certainly essential for nurturing our actual blessings. I've come to understand how different levels of risk are interconnected. The material aspect plays a crucial role not only in supporting our loved ones, but also in exposing us to the world and opening up opportunities for learning and growth. Our lives revolve around different levels of risk. I truly believe that risk is predetermined by Allah, but that striving and effort, coupled with faith and resilience on Allah, are essential in shaping our personalities. Ultimately, it comes down to how we use and value the type of risk we connect with the most at any given stage of our life. This understanding lies at the heart of our podcast. As we explore the different levels of risk and its impact on our lives, I believe that more we share, whether in material forms, intellect, or otherwise, the more it comes back to us. So, moving forward, the practical miss. Are there any specific experiences or events in your story that influenced this choice for you?
Yes, so many moments shaped this understanding. I remember being in grade six when my Baba first talked to me about covering my head. I understood why, but I told him I wasn't ready. I didn't want to lose my friends or stand out. The next day at school, I stood against a brick wall and told my classmates, my dad wants me to cover my head, but I don't want to lose you as my friends. I wasn't brave and I was afraid because I had already seen how people treated my brothers for being darker skinned, my Baba and my mom for having accents, and others for not blending in. Even in high school, when I started dressing modestly, I was made fun of. Why are you wearing a curtain? People would say. But I felt safer and more confident in how I dressed. Still, I wasn't ready to cover my head. Years later, I was married in university and finding faith in new ways. I joined halakas with friends, many of us isolated in different cities, trying to hold on to faith in a world that didn't always reflect it. One friend really challenged me. She was brilliant, doing her master's in computer science, already hired by a major tech company. She asked why I didn't cover my head. I told her, I want to after I find a job. I'm scared I won't be hired if I do, because that's really how I felt at the time. And she said something I'll never forget. If you really believe in risk, then trust that what is written for you will come, regardless of how you dress. And if someone doesn't hire you because of your headscarf, maybe that's not a place worth working anyway. That conversation shook me. I'd never connected faith and Rizq like that. Eventually, I began covering my head while working at a contract job, fully aware that this decision could impact my future. On the first day I did so, a colleague made a scene. They paced back and forth, constantly glaring, and asked, why the sudden change? I simply said, because I wanted to. And in my mind, I thought different things. I thought these are one of the reasons why I probably didn't cover my head. It was awkward, but it was important. It made sense because it was part of my identity. And from that moment, I chose to lean into faith over fear, though inside I was scared. Nettie, do you have a story about faith and risk?
While listening to your story, I have realized that my understanding of the material risk began much later in life. Yes, it was really late. My paternal grandmother was the only girl among seven brothers, and my father had no sisters. I was the first girl born after a generation, and being raised as the only girl in a very protective environment shaped my experiences significantly. Growing up in such a sheltered setting, I never had the chance to consider the struggles others faced in seeking their sustenance. I was always provided for and never thought I needed anything more. The emotional support from my loved ones felt sufficient, shaping my understanding of what risk meant. Yes, it was all about emotional support. Looking back now, I realize that, yes, my parents and grandparents were struggling, but at the time, I was shielded from those harsh realities. I experienced life in a refugee camp for a few days during the Iraq invasion of Kuwait on August 2nd, 1990, 35 years ago. We escaped Kuwait by road, crossing through Iraq and Jordan, and eventually flying back to Lahore. Even in that refugee camp, I felt a sense of security because my father, mother, and brothers were there for me. Upon reaching home in Lahore, my grandparents were there, always by our side. We were happy kids, blissfully unaware of the challenges our elders faced. In our household, we were taught to give our best and manage whatever we received, and questioning this was simply not part of my upbringing. For the longest time, I was sheltered from the practicalities of life. My family took care of everything, and I never felt the need to think for myself. Living through books and academic courses, I only started my career at the age of 29. It wasn't about seeking financial gain for me, it was about finding myself, discovering my own opinions, and experiencing life in a new way. But as you know, life has its own plans. So, just as I started my job, within 3 months, my father passed away. I vividly remember him carrying my photo in his wallet and expressing concerns before his final days. Having worked at the same place since my birth, he feared that once I became independent, he might lose his job. I reassured him, saying, "It's okay, you must be ready to retire by now." I never truly considered that he would actually pass away. Reflecting on my conversations with my father in his final days, I realized my father may have seen me as his risk, someone who brought material blessings into his life. I don't deny the importance of material success. However, in our household, we were encouraged to find our inner strength, believing that the material world would follow. I think money can come and go, but the things I can hold on to are my love and emotional support system. They are my real blessings. And this understanding has reshaped my view of risk. For me, it's never been solely about material wealth. It's about the love and emotional support I both receive and give.
Nettie, what you say resonates with me. And I can't help putting my teacher hat on. Do you know that the word risk is holistic, layered, and deeply spiritual? It's not just one thing or word, it's far more than material provision. I think that's what we've basically been talking about. It's the totality of what's being divinely written for us, our sustenance, blessings that shape our relationships, the knowledge we gain, the work we do, the healing we never saw coming, and even the obstacles that reroute us to something better and much more. This is all risk. As the Quran reminds us, and how many a creature carries not its own provision, Allah provides for it and for you. This is in Surah 29, verse 60. This verse is a powerful reminder that our sustenance comes from Allah's mercy, often in ways we could never imagine or plan for. Risk is always a blessing. Every time I step into a classroom, hand out a care package, or see a student walk a little taller, I'm reminded that risk isn't just about what we receive, it's also what we give. Nettie, Based on your experience, has your understanding of risk and resilience evolved over time?
Over time, my understanding of risk and resilience has evolved significantly. As I mentioned, I started working quite late in life, entering the practical world and facing the challenges of signing job contracts, understanding my rights as an employee, and having my skills recognized deepened my respect for the material aspect of risk. You truly don't grasp certain aspects of life until you experience them firsthand. And this is where my journey of resilience began. And it intertwined with the substantial side of risk. I learned that in the corporate world, gaining recognition for your skills in a material form is closely tied to your self respect. Working in a diverse environment is often challenging. It requires standing up for yourself and sometimes working extra hard to prove your worth. This is where I began to show resilience, and with Allah's grace, my understanding of risk on different levels strengthened. This shift in perspective has made me more grateful for what I have, whether it's a caring family, good health, or the wisdom I gain from life's challenges. I've come to believe that risk also includes our education and personal growth. Every skill we develop and every lesson we learn adds richness to our lives. It's like saying that each book we read or each person we meet contributes to our overall wealth. Similarly, I have learned that resilience is deeply connected to risk, as both remind us of the importance of support, growth, and gratitude in our lives. So, the practical miss, what do you think? How does the resilience complement the idea of risk in the stories we want to share?
Resilience and risk are deeply connected. Risk is a divine provision we receive, and resilience is the strength and faith we need to trust and embrace it, especially when life gets hard. I also believe in finding gratitude in all blessings, the ones that don't make sense and the ones that do. In the stories we share, resilience shows how trusting in what's meant for us helps us keep going, even through fear and uncertainty. It's about showing up again and again, knowing that every challenge is part of our journey and every blessing, big or small, is a gift. Together, risk and resilience remind us that faith isn't just about receiving, it's about courage, giving, and growing stronger as we walk our paths. As a child, I used to equate our wealth with the food we ate or the car we drove, believing that this was what risk meant. I didn't connect risk and resilience with the challenges and efforts that adults face behind the scenes, as you shared in your story. Until 1 week before my 18th birthday, when life changed for my family, we lost our youngest family member in a tragedy, and each of us was no longer on the path as a family, broken. Each of us was navigating grief and questioning risk, questioning our faith. And this led us all to walk different paths, destined to find what I now know is what each of us held as the highest form of risk. To some, that was never feeling the pain from the trauma again. I feel at the time we did not have the resources as first generation Canadians to receive mental and emotional support, and this impacted our story of resilience at that time. Over time, I've learned that trusting in risk means choosing faith over fear, even when the path is uncertain. Resilience is not just enduring hardship, but showing up with strength and hope, knowing that every challenge and blessing is part of a bigger plan. Nettie, what are your thoughts?
I think risk and resilience are closely linked, particularly in how resilience shapes our response to life's challenges. Resilience is the capacity to adapt and recover from adversity, and it thrives when we recognize the diverse forms of risk in our lives. While risk includes material resources, mainly, its true power lies in the emotional and social support we receive from family and friends. This support acts as a crucial safety net, providing encouragement and strength during difficult times. Moreover, resilience is strengthened by our ability to view challenges as opportunities for growth, a perspective that risk helps cultivate. By understanding that every setback can teach us valuable lessons, we develop a more adaptable mindset. This growth oriented view not only fosters resilience but also enriches our lives with new insights and skills. Additionally, resilience is about maintaining a sense of gratitude, recognizing the blessings we have, even in tough times. This gratitude can serve as a powerful motivator, pushing us to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Ultimately, by appreciating and embracing the various dimensions of risk, we enhance our resilience, equipping ourselves to face life's uncertainties with confidence, determination, and an unwavering spirit. I feel tawakkul in Allah is the highest form of risk.
I love this understanding of tawakkul in Allah as your meaningful risk.
So, how do you envision risk and resilience as a podcast?
For me, this podcast is more than just sharing stories about our risk. It's helping others to navigate resilience in action. It reflects the real work of balancing family, faith, community, and career while deepening our understanding of risk and resilience. Whether you're a teacher looking for support with classroom management, a manager trying to stay organized, a student figuring out your next steps, or a mom who feels judged and unsure what to do, a person who needs help with learning to create healthy boundaries, we hope our stories will inspire you, guide you, and help you navigate forward safely. I hope this becomes a safe space for reflection and growth, sparking the shifts we need in our personal and collective lives. I'm excited to do this with you, Nettie, across time zones with our differences and our laughters. And I'm excited for others to walk along this journey with us.
Yes, I am excited for others to join us. I envision Risk and Resilience as a podcast dedicated to working on impactful projects of I'm Well, Canada based nonprofit that help poverty struck people in Pakistan who are living below the basic standard of living. The practical miss, as you and I discussed so passionately about making a difference to create awareness and inspire others to join us in supporting the homeless and those battling the miseries of poverty in Pakistan, even Ontario, Canada, and globally. May Allah make this podcast a source of risk for the underprivileged, bringing them hope and support. And for me, keeping this podcast running actually stands as a powerful example of how two resilient, full time working women can successfully juggle their professional responsibilities and family lives. And you, especially as Mama Bear. It highlights the commitment and determination required to balance multiple roles while still creating meaningful content. This journey underscores the importance of support, creativity, and adaptability, showing that it is possible to pursue passions and make an impact while fulfilling our responsibilities. We want this podcast to exemplify resilience by sharing stories related to different levels of risk and exploring how we can remain steadfast in our pursuits. Additionally, we will connect with different resilient women to hear their stories and learn from them. As the episodes unfold, we aim to bring our mission to life, helping our audience understand how risk and resilience can go hand in hand. So that was our heart to heart, and we are just getting started. Join us again on Risk and Resilience, where we grow, give back, and glow with purpose. Thank you for tuning in. Allah Hafiz.